Hey everyone, it's the Eclectic Candyman here today looking at these Craftsman made in the USA new older stock metric and standard 6-point flex 3/8 inch drive sets. Let's check them out. Alright, so here's a couple of sets that originally I never really had my eye on back in the day in Sears. Because to be quite frank, I never understood the point when you could just use a flex socket universal adapter with any size socket you wanted. For me, this was convenient enough and I didn't really see the need to spend the money on such a set. But over the years, I did come to find that because of total clearance and height and some other features, that these were actually pretty cool to have. Now, when I originally investigated these, because I am getting them after the fact on, say, eBay or some other third-party site, that the fact that they have gone up quite a bit in price. But fortunately for me, I almost paid sticker price for these, which if we look at the top, the original tags on them, which is $44.99 on both of them, they did not come from the same seller. I got them at separate times. I believe one was for my birthday and maybe one was for Father's Day or something like that. Now, if we look at the Craftsman catalog, which I always like to do, so right here we have the 2005 to 2006 Craftsman Tools catalog. And indeed, we do have the flex socket sets. Now, the one thing to note about the catalog is that they did not sell the 7-piece individual sets. They always sold them as a combined set. So for example, right here, which is a little difficult to see, Craftsman 12-piece 3/8 inch flex socket set, they were selling for $80. Or you could get the Craftsman 17-piece 3/8 inch drive flex socket set for $120. Now, neither of those are exactly what I have right here, because these are both 7-piece sets, so I've got 14 pieces. So in the catalog, you were either getting a 12-piece set or the larger 17-piece set. Now, for the time, that 17-piece set with all sizes, no skips, which went from 3/8 to 3/4 in the standard and 10 through 19, that is a good deal. It says originally separately would have cost $144. So you've got a savings there. So these were available, but again, I think a lot of people didn't buy them for the same reason that I did. But let's take a look at what each set entails here. So first, we've got the standard set, which is part number 934445, 6-point flex 3/8 inch drive. And it comes with 3/8, 7/16, 1/2, 9/16, 5/8, 11/16, and 3/4. And so there we've got them, and they're in great shape. Again, these were new older stock, haven't been used, but they have been sitting for some years. So I'll be honest, I didn't take these out and clean them off or anything. These are in the shape that I received them in, but they're excellent. They look fantastic. So to get them out of there, this is actually a convenient kind of case. It's got this kind of tongue and groove right here that you can open up, so you don't really have to put them on a separate tray. And if we take one of them out here, let's inspect what we have. All right, so let's start from the front. We've got, of course, what we're looking for, Craftsman made in the USA, Series GK. This one is part number 43264, and this is 9/16 inch. And you can see how they swivel in all directions. So you can go, any way that you need to. And this is, more shallow, I would say, or it's roughly maybe the same as the socket clearance. It's definitely not like a deep swivel set, which I have seen some of those before. Those are pretty cool too, but very convenient. Now, let's see what else. The larger size, you just snap back in. Got all the way up here. The 3/4 on this standard set. They're all the same series because they're all coming in the same box here or same tray. For 3267, 3/4 Craftsman made in the USA. Once again, swivel real nicely. And I'm sure that a drop of 3-in-1 oil on this joint is actually, it works perfectly, like brand new right now. But if you were to have any of these and they sat and they got a little bit of rust, you could do that and then just, maneuver them around and they'd be just like brand new. So very nice set here. Now, one of the things that you could do, and you'll probably be more apt to do that in the metric set, is there's no reason that you couldn't just track down an open stock single of one of these. And you were able to do that at the Sears store back in the day. So if you really were just working with a particular size and didn't need the whole set, want to save some money, for less than $10, you could have gotten one of these. On this particular box, if you can see there in the light, made in the USA. So not only are the markings on this themselves, the sockets, but the actual tray even shows it as well. So pretty nice. All right, let's take a look at what I would use more often, which is the metric set. And again, I'm really fortunate, the 3/8 inch, that I was able to find both. And the reason I say that is because these are actually, they're kind of at a premium when you look at them on eBay or if you see them, because I think a lot of people had the same thinking that I did about their functionality, and they were more useful than maybe originally intended. And they're just kind of cool. So in the metric set, what do we have here? We have 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 17, 19. So we've got two skips. We're missing the 14 and the 16 millimeter. Those would be interesting to maybe pick up and figure that out. The set's in pretty good shape. I do see one in here that might have a little bit of surface rust, but the old Vapor Rust would take care of that quite easily. Once again, you got that same tray, and guess which one I'm going to take out? You know it, the 10 millimeter. This one alone, if you were to get, just one to have around, this is the one that I would recommend, obviously, because it's such a common size. And we're going to look at the total height difference here in a minute about why these could be so useful. I also like the point that they're 6-point as opposed to 12-point. So, when they grab on, you've got that torque that you can put on it to take off the bolt. It's less likely to, come off the bolt or strip the head if you're applying some torque in a particular direction. All right, looking at this one, also in fine condition, Craftsman, made in the USA. Series GK 43201. So mark that down if you want to get this one individually, if you ever want to track it down. Just in fantastic shape. Again, swivels in all directions. And then it goes all the way up to, believe it or not, a quite useful size, especially like if you're working on brakes or something like that. And yeah, this one, it's mostly dirt that it looks like, but this is the 19 millimeter Craftsman, made in the USA. Part number 43211, 19 millimeter. 19 millimeter is interesting. When you go up to wrench sets and stuff, a lot of stuff would stop at like 18. And I always find myself having to always go out early on and buy the 19 millimeter and everything, because whether it was, again, brakes or something on the car, 19 millimeter is just a common size. So glad to have the 19 millimeter here as well. Put that back in its case. All right, so let's compare this 10 millimeter swivel socket to its equivalent in 3/8 inch with a universal adapter. So let's just visually inspect. This is the main difference that honestly I never paid attention to, and that's why I was like, why would I need a swivel socket set? But this is why. Because the total length here, it's not quite half, but basically the size of the swivel socket is just the size of the universal swivel adapter. So if we were to take a ruler to this and just kind of ballpark what we're looking at, with the swivel adapter and the 10 millimeter 3/8 inch socket, you're looking at just a hair over 2.5 inches. And with the swivel specialty socket, you are looking at, and let me get that straightened out there. You are looking at just a bit between 1.5 and 1.75 inch is how tall that this one is. So when you're talking about working in a car in clearance and you're getting to an odd bolt that's covered and you're trying to get under, I know that on my my car, I was trying to get a bolt off the throttle body that was on the underside, and it was really kind of challenging to get to, and this type of socket was going to be helpful. One of the other things is that you'll notice here, like, there's no additional weight. This is a real nice characteristic, maybe the nicest that I haven't mentioned yet, which is when you put it at an angle and you've got your socket, you notice that it's not maneuvering. Here's the problem with these. when you have them, sometimes depending on the size of the socket, it will actually move it down. So you can't keep it in position. I've more often had that with 1/2 inch because of the weight of the socket on it, but you kind of get it into position and then it goes bloop and you can't, because of the weight, it might pull it down. So I think it's just nice because there's less weight that once you get it into position, it's not going to move. So these have a much better clearance capability than their counterpart. But again, I really do think that if you can't get the whole set, just getting a few of these in common sizes would be really useful for whatever you're working on. All right, summing it up, I'm really happy with this purchase. I'll get some use out of it, but like with a lot of specialty tools, these are one of those things that when you need it, but otherwise you're probably not going to be your go-to socket, but it's going to save you in a bind and probably from a headache someday. Again, one of the real reasons, normally Craftsman new older stock made in the USA, because it's all discontinued, usually goes 2 to 3X. And again, I got these almost at the original cost, right around $45 or $50. I was very fortunate. I will say though, that what I would like to get, if we go back to the catalog, are the 1/4 inch flex sockets. And I'll tell you, I already ran into it. So one time I was using a flex socket in the car and I wanted to use like a 3/8. And the problem was, even with this one, it was just too big. It was such a tight clearance. Even this one would not have worked. So having an even smaller size swivel socket, and you're talking about it's going to even be a lower clearance and a smaller overall diameter and circumference. So these are pretty nice. The problem with the 1/4 inch ones, they're really expensive. So the 1/4 inch set for 8 piece is $50 in this 2005 catalog. On average, they go for $150 to $200 a set. And that's a little bit rich, especially for a specialty tool. So you're looking at 3 to 4X for the 1/4 inch set. But who knows, maybe someday on the channel, I'll get a set of those if I can score a deal. But otherwise, I'm really happy with this 3/8 inch drive, 6-point flex, metric, and standard socket set. If you have these, have another feature you might like about them, please put a comment below. Make sure to check out all the Craftsman videos that I have on this channel. I have a bunch in a playlist, or you can sort around and take a look and see what you like. Please give it a thumbs up. Follow the channel for more information like this. Anyway, I hope you found this video interesting, looking back in time at some Craftsman made in the USA tools. And until next time, this is the Eclectic Handyman. We'll see you later.